Welcome to Wonkeyjase.
So today we're going to do a tiny bit on psychology and ethics. So imagine this, you're on a ship and the ship goes down for some reason. So you have to jump into the water and there's only so many lifeboats. This is very much a sort of Titanic situation. There's only so many lifeboats, only so many people that can get into the lifeboat. And you see a lifeboat in the far distance and you swim over and ask if you can join the boat. So this is where ethics comes into it from the start. Do you actually ask to join the lifeboat? Do you just swim over and climb on board? Or do you threaten them if they don't allow you on board? So that's already asking you some key questions about your mentality and the type of person you are. So you can take away from that what you want. Have a little pause and think about it. And then we move on to the next part. So if you ask to join the boat, they say yes, that's all fine, all dandy. If they say no, what's your option? Do you fight to get on board, knowing that you're going to be sort of persecuted and maybe thrown off afterwards? Are you able to get onto the actual raft when they say no? Have you got enough strength to get on there? It tells you whether you're a fighter or a flighter, and whether you got any sort of morals. Are there other options? Are there other lifeboats in the far distance that you can join? Or are you just going to be in the water and left to rot as such? So have a think about that one. So let's assume that you've been allowed on board and you're actually on board. Anybody else comes up to the boat. Now you have the dilemma of letting anybody else on board. Because there's things you've got to think about. Is the person who wants to come on the boat, is he a complete stranger? Do you want to risk everything for having a stranger on board? Or are they a family member? I mean, maybe a wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. Obviously, you're going to fight. Well, I say obviously, you may want to fight for them to be on board. What if there's no other spaces, and that family member wants to come on board? Do you sacrifice your space? Do you fight others to overload the boat and risk everybody on board from capsizing and that kind of stuff? What if the person is ill or sick or overweight, which it could, if you've got a group of people who are overweight, are they going to capsize the boat? Or if you don't dispute them across the boat? It sounds nasty, but you've got to think of these things. I mean, if they're ill or sick, is it something that's contagious? Are you going to catch what they've got? Are they just going to be a hindrance? Is it going to be the smell or rotten skin, that kind of stuff? Diseases. Do you know what disease they got? Is it going to be something that's going to be nasty to deal with? Are they actually just a nasty person? Did you want a nasty person on board? Somebody who's just you just wouldn't want to spend any time with them. It may be months or even a year or two that you're on board this boat. You don't know how long you're going to be on there. Don't just assume that it's going to be a rescue within a couple of hours. You're far out at sea. You've got to think of these things. Is the person annoying? Did you want to spend time on the boat with somebody who's really, really annoying and somebody you just can't deal with? You're in a stressful situation as it is. Having somebody annoying on board, that's going to test you. That really is. What about a selfish person? Did you want somebody on there? You also got people like, there could be a bully. Are they just going to bully the whole boat into doing what they want to do all the time? Is it an old person? Would you choose an old person over a young person or vice versa? Because if you see an elderly person in the water and a younger person and you think there was only one more space, who are you going to choose? Could you make that choice, or could you make that choice as a team? Then you've got people like the feeble. They're going to be helpful on board. Are they going to be able to fish or construct things, help others? Or are they just going to be a weakling in the corner and that you're going to have to look after all the time? Is the person who's asked to come on board come as a couple? Is it a married couple that want to come on board? Can you say no to one person and let the other on board? You've got to think about overloading the boat, risking everybody, because each person who comes on board, apart from reducing the space that you have to move around on the boat, you also got to think about food, water, and the capsize risk, because the more weight that's in the boat, the more risk there is of capsizing to a degree. Obviously you want some weight in there to stabilize the boat, but if you've got an overloaded boat, there's a lot to think about there. So there's a dilemma. You've got to think about all these things, and what would you actually what would you risk, and what would you actually accept as acceptable, and could you live with yourself with the choices that you made years and years ahead, and sort of tell family members of what decisions you actually made. So that is as a passenger. Let's change things around a bit. Now ask yourself, with all the things that we discussed, if you were the captain, if you're the one who had to make the decision, could you make the same decisions again, or would it be slightly different? Because if you're the captain and one of the passengers has a family member come up, it means nothing to you. Are you going to let them on board? Are you going to sacrifice everybody's safety? Because being the captain, you actually, you have the actual isn't it? You have the responsibility. Responsibility is the word I was looking for. So you have the responsibility of everybody's care, health, and their lives on board. And when you do actually, if you do actually manage to get rescued, etc., etc., people are going to look at you and say, "Why did you make that decision? Why did you let a diseased person on board rather than a healthy old person?" So when you meet somebody, and you want to know what the character is, whether they're a nice person, bad person, etc., you can ask this question to them. See the responses, because this can tell you a lot about the psychology of a person, their ethics, and whether it's somebody you want in your life. So anyway, have fun with that. Pause it as many times as you want, and really think about it, and you may enjoy it. So anyways, please like, share, subscribe, and comment below, and we're also on TikTok. And on the next video, why do panda bears always look like they've been in a fight? We find out on the next video, only on Wonkeyjase. Bye bye for now. This is